Hey, this is Cornelius Lindsey, and welcome to the Silent Majority. You know, with growing partisan distaste amongst many voters, there's a silent majority that's growing that doesn't find a home in either of America's two major political parties. People don't know how to identify themselves, and a large number of people are simply not voting. Of all the voters, many people are just unsatisfied with either the candidates or the system. This silent majority is growing, and we have something to say. Welcome to the Silent Majority. What's up, y'all?
What up?
My name is Cornelius Lindsey. Welcome to another episode of Silent Majority. Jared, okay.
What's going on?
Forget all the preliminaries. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I love politics. I love politics. I am drained. I'm tired. I'm tired. I mean, you know, this show is seasonal.
That's only because Trump lost.
We're gonna end. God, dog.
That's why he tired.
God, is that what we doing today? Is that what we doing today?
Is that the truth?
You're not exhausted?
Yeah. No, I'm not. Not really.
I'm exhausted from all this crap.
I don't care.
I mean, look. At the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I don't care. I don't even think if Trump did win. Right now, the political theater is it's very exhausting. Like this whole thing about the vote count and like, you know, the White House contacting potential electors, you know, contacting Secretary of State. I've sat down with people and I asked them, do you honestly believe that this assumption that there is something going on with the votes, do you think there's something behind it? And they do. Now listen, I don't think any of this, I don't think anything is perfect. I don't think our election system is perfect. I mean, here in the state of Georgia, they say we missed like 6,000 votes. It's not enough to push Trump over Biden, but you know, I do think it's some bull crap going on.
You think so?
Absolutely, I think so. It's
like
been going on though.
I mean, yeah. I feel like that's always been the case. Even with the election between Abrams and Kemp, or the race between Abrams and Kemp, I think there was some stuff going on there too. But some voter fraud. I don't know if it's the same kind of fraud, but
Democrats knew what they were doing when they opened up that State Farm Arena, and they gave more room for when Fulton and Clayton County, Fulton County, when Gwinnett County numbers came in, when they went out and voted. I mean, even Cobb County, Gwinnett County, they both elected a Democrat sheriff. I think it's the first black, you know,
first black chairwoman for Gwinnett County too, Cole Hendrickson. Yeah,
I believe it's the first black chairwoman for Cobb County. I believe it's the same thing too.
Georgia turning blue, y'all.
Georgia already turned blue. Georgia turned blue because they knew the numbers and they knew who to bring on the numbers. I think Trump lost Georgia, and he lost multiple places because he kept telling his base, do not send in the ballots. Do not send in your ballots. Do not send in your ballots. Go into the polls. And honestly, I think there's some people who would have voted for him by sending in their ballot, the absentee ballot, got on election day and said, well, I'm not going to the polls today because I'm tired. I don't feel like it. And some people just didn't go. But Democrats were pushing vote early. I mean, all over Georgia.
If you could stand in line for some Yeezys, you could stand in line to vote.
That's what everybody was saying. Oh, but then we're saying all of these things. Did you go vote?
I did not.
I was about to be like, yo, what? You've been lying this whole time. I was be like, God, dog.
Nah, bro.
A whole show around the fact that you was not gonna vote.
Can't do it. And I'm actually, man, I got so much flack. People been in my DMs saying my uncle's, my great granddaddy died for this, right? And
hold on, your great granddaddy died for this one?
Not my great granddad, but
theirs great dad. Their great dad.
Man, they be trashing me, bro.
But here's the thing: it's a right. It's a right. Okay. Like I have a right to bear arms. I have the right to. That does not mean, I know people, they have the right to bear arms, but they choose not to bear arms. We have a right. We have a right to the freedom of speech. We don't have to use the freedom of speech right that we have, but it's a right. You have a right to vote.
I feel like I'm using my right the wrong way.
How can you use a right the wrong way? It's your right.
I don't know, because they're like, well, even though you can't yell fire in a crowded room, you know, like there's some things that you should and shouldn't do, even though you have the right to, you know.
I believe that's left up to personal.
You can still do it, but you shouldn't do it.
Opinions. Who the hell are they to tell you what you should do with your rights and what you should not do with your rights? I mean, at the end of the day, if you want people to vote, then I feel like you should give them a reason to vote. If you had a reason to vote, and I'm just going to answer this question. You can be you're going to be honest anyway. I've never known you really lie about anything. Well, you probably have because you're Jared. But nevertheless, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you had a really good reason to vote, would you vote?
Yeah, I would. Like I said, if you ran for office, I would vote for you sure.
Because you would have a reason that you believed in.
Yeah.
And you just didn't believe in the reasons that you had.
Right.
I believe that's the better argument we should have. It is not whether or not we should tell people you need to go vote, but it's actually giving people the reason behind why they're not voting. Because even with, I think they were saying that Joe Biden is approaching over 80 million people who voted for him. Well, that's great. But I mean, how many people are in America? Is it like 300 and something billion? Let me see. How many
300 something billion
in
I think it might be like 4 billion people in the world. It might be a couple 100 million.
But a population clock.
350 million, I'm guessing.
It is 330 million.
Oh, I was close.
It's 7 million people. It's y'all out there having some babies. Y'all really about this life. But it's 330 million people. Okay. So 330 million. Let's see. Let's do this. Just cop it off 340 million. Subtract 80 million. Okay. We're going to do 80 million.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Then we subtract. Let's say I think Donald Trump, maybe he's at like, let's say he's at 75 million. Okay. If I'm doing my math correctly. That's over 185 million people who didn't vote.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's half the country.
So that I mean, we can go in there. We can look at people who have felonies. We can look at people who, all those kind of things. But I think at the end of the day, that's 185 million people
185 million
who chose not to vote.
Wow.
Now, did they choose not to vote because they didn't have their right to vote, or they choose not to vote because they maybe didn't have a reason to jump into the race and say, this is why I want to vote?
Interesting. Never looked at it from that perspective.
185 million people.
That's
if
startling.
The numbers are correct. I mean, we're looking at the numbers. We're saying if it's 340 million people in America right now.
That's more than half the people.
80 million people. Only 80 million people voted for Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. If we just conservatively say that, or we just kind of embellish a little bit and we say 75 million people voted for President Trump, then that still leaves us 185 million people. That means your coworkers, your mama and them that said they voted, they didn't vote. 185 million people. The person who's serving you right now didn't vote. So tell them next time they come in your DMs, you got to tell them you are a part of the 185 million people. The 100. That's the reason why there's a silent majority.
But let me ask you this: why is this guy, Trump, DJT? Why is he pushing back so much? What is going on with this man?
Can I just be completely honest with you?
Please be honest.
You got a guy who I believe he believes in his image, and for his name to be tarnished in American history, to say that he lost, I think is more than what his ego can stand. And I believe that now it is ego.
Definitely.
That's it. And I don't see this turning out well. I don't see him shaking Joe Biden's hand. I don't see him having a smooth transition. I believe that if Donald Trump does leave the White House, if he leaves the White House, because he does not have to concede, I believe if he does leave the White House, that ultimately when he leaves the White House, he is going to frame the narrative, because somebody with he's
already doing that.
Ego is going to frame the narrative. And the narrative will be, you never beat me.
You cheated.
You never beat me. You cheated. You cheated. You're not the winner. I am the real president. And it does not matter what anybody says. I don't care about the election. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about what's good for the Republic of America. This is what I believe. This is it. You cheated, and he is going to have. Now, you got to think, 75 million people. Let's just say, give or take, 15 million people are like, screw it. Let's just say 10 million people are like, hey, I see what you're doing, Trump. I'm still not rocking with you. That's still 65 million people he has in his back pocket who are like, I'm with you. I'm for you. They cheated. I think Fox News or either Fox, ABC, one of them I was reading, they did a poll that said the majority of Americans now believe that the American voting process is rigged.
It's been rigged, y'all.
It's been rigged, in my opinion. But nevertheless, for that to now be a conversation,
coming to the forefront,
I believe it is dangerous for future elections. Because people are going to look at that and say, it ain't right. Then the state of Georgia, 6,000 votes.
It's even dangerous for society. You have so many people that support and back him and that will do anything for him, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know somebody who said, their words to me, point blank, was Joe Biden can kiss my
black guy.
Well, he wasn't black. He wasn't black. But he wasn't black. All I asked him was that, do you think we have to go through another mask mandate? And his response was, I ain't. I don't care what he says. He said, I'm going to oppose everything he says. And he says, me, and then he began to list out, his friends and other groups and stuff like that. He's like,
sounds just like Democrats. I'm just going to oppose anything a Republican say, offer, put on the table. Don't matter because you read.
I'm getting further from the microphone. It was very interesting. I will say this. It was very interesting. Like, after they called the race for Joe Biden and then people came out and it was like, yes, now we need peace. Let's make peace.
Come on. They just say this stuff every year. It pisses me off, bro. It's like peace. They did it in the Democratic National Convention.
We're going to make peace.
Kamala is ripping Joe Biden to shreds. Next thing you know, Biden calls her up. Can you please be my VP?
Yes, Joe.
You know what? I take back all those bad things I said about you, Joe.
You're a racist anymore.
And
I don't believe you're not a womanizer. You didn't really rape those women.
Every year they do the same thing.
I don't believe you're a racist. You're not a racist, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Look, if the American, I mean, whoever writing the textbook for 2020, y'all better get this race right. Because this is the race where, if anything, this could be the race that is pegged as the first time in American history where black women got in and used a white man to get what they wanted.
First time.
There, I said it. I said it. They black women was like, we gonna do this thing. We gonna do it because, okay, here it goes. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You think Joe Biden gonna stay all 4 years?
Ooh, what you trying to say?
I don't think so.
What you trying to say?
You already know what I'm
stay. Like
say.
he got the option to stay. Like, nah, I'm gonna head out. All I'm
saying is,
all right, I'm gonna head out.
All I'm saying is,
how old is he?
I'm gonna look at it. I think he's 78.
78.
Let me see, what 82. 82 when his term is over with. I mean, I had somebody was like, well, did you see him jogging the other day? Oh.
My man tried to jog out onto the stage to accept that speech or to give his speech. I was like, Joe, don't do that.
All right, Joe, you're gonna pull a hip.
Your heart rate.
Pull a hip.
You can't.
He gonna be on the sidelines about some.
We don't need your heart rate jumping up, Joe.
The next thing gonna be coming on CNN about some. He might have a COVID test, and no, he really pulled a hip. He better stop. All I got to say is, I believe. Here is what I'm saying. I believe there's going to be a Kamala Harris presidency. I believe the House is going to which the House is still going to be ran by Democrats, even though Democrats lost a ton of seats.
A woman as president?
I'm not just any woman, but right now, Kamala, she checked 4 boxes that I know of. She is the first biracial. She is the first Jamaican. She is the first Indian. And then she is the first woman. So that's a lot of firsts.
Can we vote people out?
I mean, no. They can't. You can. Why would you? No. That's not. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
Isn't that democracy?
No, that's not. No, that's not what we're doing. I mean, the House and the Senate can, but then have all these rules and all these reasons. But nevertheless, Kamala will become president, and then after Kamala becomes president, I believe it's the House that has the authority to then name the vice president. Since the House is ran by the Democrats, I believe that if that scenario does take place, and again, political theater, if it does take place, you will have a 2-woman team in America.
And who's that second woman going to be? Don't say Stacey Abrams.
I didn't say. Listen. Stacey Abrams' name has been floated a lot, but I don't believe that Stacey Abrams would take a position in Joe Biden's cabinet. If anything, I believe Stacey Abrams would become the leader of the Democratic National Party.
Why not?
She'll become the leader of the Democratic National Party because then she would have more leeway into what she's doing. Remember, Stacey Abrams' whole objective right now is being able to talk about voter suppression. If there's anything that she's going to do well, and the Democrats understand that, they'll make her the leader of the Democratic Party, or make her put her over voter suppression, whatever it is, and then she's in every state. she's going to places like Michigan, making sure that Flint gets out to vote, making sure that the right areas.
You can't have that power as vice president.
Who? Stacey Abrams?
Yeah.
I don't believe that they would go as far as going Kamala and Stacey. That's not. I don't believe they would do that.
So she would bring in another white woman.
Well, not another white woman because she ain't white.
I mean, she would bring in a white woman.
I believe so. I believe that it would be either.
Don't say Amy.
It would be either a white woman or if she did go with another woman of another race, then that woman could be Hispanic. I do believe
AOC?
that it could be. No.
She's too young.
Yeah, I mean, no, it wouldn't be AOC. I believe that you can. I don't. Like, I'm not. Don't get me wrong here. I believe Tammy Duckworth, but I think she has a whole host of women here. It was she has a whole host of women there she could really choose from. But I believe if anybody, she would probably choose Hispanic. Absolutely,
my mind,
without a shadow of a doubt.
Country run by women.
Hold on.
So you got some nice walls you got here. Man, look at these. You put that wood panel up yourself?
Well, this season of the Silent Majority has been canceled.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
I love that wood panel.
But you know the reason being. The reason they would do that is because they would say that America would never elect two women to the two highest offices in this land. So therefore, we have now chosen, or you gave us, Kamala, and now we have an opportunity to choose who our vice president is going to be. We have two women. They'll get in there. They'll get the job done, push some things through, be as authoritative as they possibly can, then come back to re-election and say, listen, this is what women can do. Women overwhelmingly supported Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. If there's any gender that pushed Joe Biden over, it was women, specifically black women.
Because of Kamala.
You can't, I mean, yeah. But mm-hmm. I mean, even then there were, I think, okay. On the other side of it too, I will say that I'm very proud of all of the different women who did win seats. It was a lot of GOP women. It was more of a red wave than a blue wave.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably just went and was like, I can't deal with Trump no more. I'm going to vote for Biden. But then when they went down ballot, they started voting for more Republicans. But
you know what?
I foresee a Kamala presidency sooner than later.
Where are we at with the Senate though?
Ooh, well.
Can you imagine if they gain control of the Senate too?
Well, this is what we have. The Democrats need both seats. They need both seats because the Democrats did not win North Carolina. They put all that money in North Carolina. They did not win North Carolina. They did not beat Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. They did not beat Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. They did not beat Joni Ernst in Iowa. They need both seats. Even if they have both seats, the reason they need both seats is because that would give them the opportunity for Kamala to be the tiebreaker. Mm-hmm. So they need both.
They probably won't get it though.
If Republicans can win just one, then they'll still have the majority.
Right. I doubt they'll win both though.
I mean, traditionally, statistically, Democrats don't win runoffs because it's harder to get the Democratic base to come out twice.
So we're in a runoff right now.
We're in a runoff right now.
So explain that to the people what that is.
So we have runoff right now. In the state of Georgia, you have to get over 50%. You got to get over 50% threshold. David Perdue got 49%. He is the Republican, the current incumbent. He's going against John Ossoff. So John Ossoff wants people to go to the polls to vote their Ossoffs. I think we did that one there. It was pretty cool. I liked it when he did it.
He
didn't cuss. It was
that was clever.
Go vote your Ossoff.
Vote your Ossoff.
And then you have the other side. You have Kelly Loeffler, who is a Republican. She's a current incumbent. She was actually chosen by Governor Brian Kemp, to take the place of retiring Senator Johnny Atkinson.